I sat alone at Morton's Steakhouse in downtown Chicago, staring at 5 empty chairs around a table set for 6. The waiter had asked 3 times if I wanted to order. My navy dress, the one I'd bought specifically for this night, felt too tight. The reservation was at 7. It was now 7:45. My phone buzzed against the white tablecloth. A text from my mother, Linda. "We can't make it tonight. Austin's friend threw him a surprise party for landing that sales job. We're already here. You understand. You're not our priority right now. We'll celebrate yours another time. 6 years. 6 years of 80-hour weeks to become regional director. Tonight was supposed to be my night. I paid for the untouched wine and walked out into the November cold. I drove straight to their house in Naperville. My hands were steady on the wheel, which surprised me. I thought I'd be crying by now, but instead I felt something else. Something clear and cold and final. The key was still on my ring. I let myself in through the front door. The house smelled like my childhood, like vanilla candles and that specific laundry detergent my mother had used for 30 years. But something was different. I walked into the living room and stopped. The mantel used to hold framed photos in chronological order. My baby pictures, my kindergarten graduation, my high school portrait, my college diploma ceremony. They were gone. In their place, recent photos of Austin. Austin at a baseball game. Austin with his friends. Austin holding a beer at someone's backyard party. All of them new. All of them replacing mine. I walked upstairs to my childhood bedroom. The door was open. My twin bed was gone. My bookshelf was gone. My posters. My desk. Everything. The room was now filled with weight equipment. A bench press sat where my bed used to be. Dumbbells lined the wall. A protein powder container sat on the windowsill. Austin was 24. He still lived here. I went back downstairs and found the hallway where my college diplomas used to hang. Bachelor's degree in business administration. Master's degree in supply chain management. Both frames were gone. I checked the garage. There, in a cardboard box labeled MISC, I found them buried under old Christmas decorations. The kitchen whiteboard still hung by the refrigerator, where we'd always left family messages. I picked up the blue marker. My hand didn't shake. "Since I'm not your priority, Austin is now your only child. Let him handle everything from now on. Don't contact me. I mean it. Dottie." Then I opened my phone. I'd been paying for the family phone plan for 3 years. 5 lines. $170 a month. I logged into the account and removed myself, switched the billing to my father's email. They could figure it out. Next, the joint checking account I shared with my mother. She'd asked me to set it up years ago for family expenses. I'd been depositing $500 every month like clockwork. I transferred my name off the account. Whatever balance was left was theirs to manage. I walked to the key rack by the door. The spare key to the lake house hung on a brass hook. My grandmother had left that house to me specifically in her will, but my parents had been using it every summer, hosting family reunions, letting Austin and his friends party there on weekends. I took the key and put it in my pocket. My house key went on the counter with a small clink. I drove back to my condo in Lincoln Park. The city lights blurred past. I kept waiting to feel something. Anger. Sadness. Regret. But all I felt was tired. So deeply tired. Inside my apartment, I blocked their numbers. All of them. Mom. Dad. Austin. I climbed into bed fully clothed and closed my eyes. At 6:47 the next morning, my work phone started buzzing. Not my personal phone, my work phone. I'd forgotten about that one. The screen showed 38 missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize. I scrolled through them in confusion. Some were local, some had area codes from other states. Then I checked my doorbell camera app. The footage from 5:30 that morning showed my mother and father standing on my doorstep. My father was in sweatpants and an old Bears jacket. My mother wore her bathrobe. My father was shouting something at the door. I turned up the volume. "Austin's in trouble. You need to fix this right now. Open this door, Dottie. We know you're in there." I checked my email. 17 new messages from family members I hadn't spoken to in years. Aunt Carol. Uncle Dennis. Cousins I barely remembered, all of them with subject lines like urgent and family emergency and call immediately. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone. The buzzing wouldn't stop. Different numbers. Same desperation. Whatever happened after I left last night? It must have been bad, really bad. I made coffee. Let them wait. Let them feel what it's like to be ignored, to be told you're not the priority. The coffee tasted bitter, but I drank it anyway. At 7:15, someone pounded on my door. Not the doorbell, the actual door. Fist against wood, hard and angry. "Dottie, open up. This is serious," my father's voice. I looked through the peephole. Both my parents stood there. My mother's eyes were red. My father's face was purple, with rage or panic or both. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. I didn't invite them in. I just stood there in my doorway, coffee cup in hand, and waited. "You need to fix this," my father said immediately. No hello. No apology. Just a demand. "Fix what?" I kept my voice flat. "Austin's in trouble," my mother jumped in. Her voice had that frantic edge I'd heard my whole life whenever Austin messed up, which was often. "He needs your help. I'm sure he'll figure it out. He's the priority, remember?" My father's face got darker. "Don't be smart. This is serious. Austin got a job and things went wrong and now he's in a bad situation and you need to help him." I sipped my coffee. "What kind of bad situation?" "He needs money," my mother said. "And he needs a place to stay. Just temporarily. And we thought maybe you could get him a job at your company. You're high up there now, right? You could pull some strings." "Let me get this straight," I said slowly. "Austin got a sales job. You all ditched my promotion dinner to celebrate his job. And now, less than 24 hours later, he needs money and housing and a different job." "It's complicated," my father muttered. "Uncomplicated." My mother twisted her hands together. The job wasn't what he thought it was. It was one of those multi-level marketing things. He didn't realize until the party. Everyone got upset. Some people left angry. And he'd already signed a lease on an apartment because he thought he'd be making good money. And he bought a car, a nice one, and now he can't afford any of it. And the apartment complex wants first month, last month, and deposit. And the car payment is $700 a month. And you want me to fix it?" I finished for her. "He's your brother," my father said, like that explained everything, like it always had. "Where did he get the money for the down payment on a car?" They looked at each other. A long, guilty look. "We helped him a little," my mother said. "How much? That's not important right now. What's important is that Austin needs—" "How much?" I repeated. $5,000, my father said. "From our savings, which we can't really afford right now. Which is why we need you to help him get on his feet so he can pay us back." I almost laughed. Their savings. The savings I'd been supplementing with $500 a month for 3 years. $18,000 total. And they'd just handed $5,000 of it to Austin for a car down payment to celebrate a job that turned out to be a pyramid scheme. "No," I said. "What?" My mother looked genuinely shocked. "No, I'm not co-signing anything. I'm not letting him move in. I'm not getting him a job. No." "But he's your brother," my mother's voice went shrill. "Family helps family. Then you help him. He's your son. Your priority." I started to close the door. My father stuck his foot in it. "You're being selfish," he said. "We raised you better than this." That's when I pulled out my phone. I'd checked my credit report last night, something I did quarterly out of habit. But this morning, I'd checked it again, and I'd found something. "Did you give Austin my social security number?" I asked. The silence was answer enough. I turned my phone screen to face them. 3 new credit cards opened in my name in the last 2 months. One of them has a $4,000 balance. The address on file is an apartment complex in Schaumburg. Want to guess which apartment? My mother's face went pale. He was going to pay it back. He just needed a little help to get started. "You gave him my social security number." I couldn't quite believe it, even though I was staring at the proof. "We're on your birth certificate," my father said defensively. We have a right to help our children however we need to. That's identity theft. That's illegal. Don't be dramatic, my mother said. It's just family helping family. He would have told you eventually. I pulled up the non-emergency police number on my phone, dialed it right there while they watched. Yes, I need to file an identity theft report, I said when someone answered. Dottie, hang up the phone, my father said. I walked away from them, into my living room. They followed. I gave the dispatcher my information, my address, the details of the fraudulent accounts. Dottie, please, my mother was crying now. Don't do this. We can work it out. The dispatcher asked if I wanted to press charges. You would send your own brother to jail? My mother's voice broke. Over money? If you do this, my father said, his voice low and dangerous, we will never forgive you. You'll be dead to this family. I looked at them both. My mother's tears, my father's rage, the same patterns I'd seen my whole life. Austin messes up. Everyone scrambles to fix it. I pay the price. Yes, I said into the phone. I want to press charges. My mother let out a sound like a wounded animal. My father turned and walked out. My mother followed, looking back at me like I'd stabbed her. I finished the report with the dispatcher. She was kind, professional. She'd seen this before, she said. Family fraud was more common than people thought. Someone would follow up within 48 hours. I hung up, sat on my couch, stared at the wall. My work phone rang. The screen showed Marlene Jackson, HR director. My stomach dropped. Marlene never called. She emailed. Everything was always email. Hello? Dottie, hi. Sorry to call so early. Can you come to the office today? We need to talk about something urgent regarding your promotion. What kind of something? I'd rather discuss it in person. How soon can you be here? I looked at the clock. 7:53 in the morning. An hour? That works. Come to my office. And Dottie, bring your laptop and building access badge. She hung up. That sick feeling in my stomach spread to my chest. Bring your laptop and badge. That's what they said when they were letting someone go. But I'd just been promoted. They'd just made me regional director. What could possibly have happened overnight? I drove to the office in a daze. Thoughts racing. Had Austin done something else? Had my parents? What could they possibly have done to my job? The answer was worse than I imagined. Marlene's office was on the executive floor. I'd been up here exactly twice before. Once for my first promotion. Once for this recent one. The walls were glass, looking out over Lake Michigan. On a clear day, you could see all the way to Indiana. Today was not a clear day. Marlene sat behind her desk with two other people I didn't know. A man in a dark suit. A woman with a leather portfolio. Dottie, please sit. This is Marcus Chen from Legal, and Patricia Foster from our external audit firm. Saturday. My hands were cold. We received an anonymous email this morning at 5 a.m., Marlene said. She pulled up something on her computer and turned the screen toward me. It was sent to the entire board of directors. It contains allegations that you've been embezzling client funds. The words didn't make sense at first. Embezzling. Client funds. Me. That's not true, I said. The email includes documentation, Marcus said. He slid papers across the desk. Bank statements. Invoices. Transfer records. My signature at the bottom of documents I'd never seen before. These show a pattern of unauthorized transfers over the last 6 months. Approximately $50,000 total. I picked up the papers with shaking hands. The bank account numbers were real, from clients I worked with. But the signatures, while they looked like mine, weren't. The dates were from days I'd been out of the state at conferences. I didn't do this, I said. I've never seen these documents before. The email came from an untraceable account, Patricia said. But the documentation appears authentic. Our forensic team is analyzing it now. Until the investigation is complete, Marlene continued, her voice careful, we need to place you on administrative leave. Paid, she added quickly. You'll surrender your laptop, building access, and company phone. You're not to contact any clients or discuss this with anyone except legal counsel. Someone framed me, I said. The words sounded ridiculous even as I said them, like something from a bad movie. This isn't real. We take these allegations very seriously, Marcus said. If the investigation clears you, you'll be reinstated immediately with a formal apology. If not. He didn't finish the sentence. I handed over my laptop. My badge. My phone. They gave me a box for my personal items from my office. I walked out of that building in a fog, carrying a cardboard box like every fired person in every movie. In my car, I called my college roommate Jenna. She'd gone to law school, specialized in corporate law. We'd stayed close. Jenna Martinez Law, she answered professionally. Jenna, it's Dottie. I need help. 2 hours later, I sat in her office telling her everything. The dinner, the note, Austin's fraud, my parents' betrayal. And now this. They're retaliating, she said immediately. The timing is too perfect. Your parents show up at 5:30 a.m., demanding you help Austin. The email goes out at 5 a.m. Someone knew your company's board email addresses. Austin, I said. He's been unemployed for months. He has computer skills. He's been in my apartment before. He could have photographed documents. Can you prove he was in your apartment when you weren't there? I thought about it. No. I gave him a spare key years ago in case of emergencies. He never gave it back. Jenna made notes. We'll need to trace the email's origin. I have a forensic IT specialist. This is going to cost money, Dottie. How much? Retainer of $10,000 to start. Could go higher depending on what we find. I felt sick. But I nodded. I had savings. Not much. But enough for this. For now. Over the next 3 days, my world collapsed in slow motion. The company sent an internal memo about my administrative leave. They didn't name me directly, but everyone knew. My work friends stopped texting. My mentor, the VP who'd fought to get me promoted, sent a brief email. I can't be associated with this situation. I'm sorry. A recruiter who'd been pursuing me for months, trying to get me to interview at a competitor, suddenly stopped returning my calls. My LinkedIn profile, once full of connection requests and job inquiries, went silent. Then the family post started. My mother posted on Facebook, so heartbroken when children turn their backs on family over small misunderstandings, praying for my daughter to find Christ and remember the values we taught her. 43 likes, dozens of comments from relatives I barely knew. Always thought she was stuck up. Pride comes before a fall. So sad when kids forget where they came from. Austin posted something on Instagram. When the people you sacrifice everything for throw you under the bus. Stay humble, y'all. 47 likes. Comments from his friends, from family members, all supportive, all painting him as the victim. I couldn't respond. Anything I said would make it worse, so I stayed silent and watched them build their narrative. Jenna called on day 4 of the investigation. Sit down, she said. I was already sitting. In my apartment. Alone. The blinds drawn. What did you find? The forensic accountant traced the transactions. Someone did embezzle $50,000 from those client accounts. The trail leads to your login credentials. The transfers happened over 6 months, always when you were logged into the system. But I didn't. I know. Let me finish. Whoever did this had sophisticated access. They knew your schedule. They knew which clients had the loosest oversight. They knew exactly how much they could take without triggering automatic alerts. Austin wouldn't know that, I said. No. But someone with access to your work computer would. Someone who could watch you work, learn your patterns, copy your credentials. My parents, I said slowly. Last Christmas, I was working from their house on my laptop. My mom kept bringing me coffee, looking over my shoulder. I thought she was just being interested. It's possible. But proving it is harder. The company is moving forward with termination. And Dottie, there's more. Of course there was more. There was always more. Your parents filed a restraining order against you this morning. They're claiming you threatened them when you filed the police report against Austin. They have witness statements, photos of you at their house. They're saying you broke in and vandalized their property. I had a key. I left a note on their whiteboard. They're calling it breaking and entering. And Austin filed a counter-report, claiming you stole from him. He says the credit cards you reported were actually authorized, that you're lying as retaliation for him discovering your embezzlement. I couldn't breathe. The room felt too small. There's a court hearing for the restraining order in 3 days, Jenna continued. You need to be there. And Dottie, the company is considering pressing criminal charges. If we can't prove someone else did this, you're looking at felony embezzlement. After she hung up, I sat in the dark. This was really happening. They were really doing this. My own family was systematically destroying my life. And they were winning. The restraining order hearing was in a cold, fluorescent-lit courtroom in Cook County. I wore a gray suit, tried to look professional, trustworthy, not like someone who would steal or threaten or break laws. My parents sat on the other side with a lawyer. A real lawyer in a three-piece suit. I later found out they'd hired him using my stolen credit card. The one Austin had maxed out. Their lawyer presented evidence. Text messages I'd supposedly sent, threatening to make them pay. I'd never sent those messages. The screenshots were doctored. But they looked real. Witness statements from Austin's friends claiming they'd heard me yelling threats at family gatherings. I hadn't been to a family gathering in 8 months. Photos of me at their house the night I left the note. The photos made it look sinister. Me letting myself in. Me in their kitchen. Me leaving. No context, no explanation that I'd had a key, that they'd always told me I was welcome any time. My father took the stand and cried. Actually cried. Said he feared for his life. Said I'd become erratic, violent, unpredictable. My mother clutched tissues and nodded along. I wanted to scream, to stand up and tell everyone the truth, but Jenna squeezed my hand and whispered, "Stay calm, let me handle it." The judge was an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. He'd probably seen 100 cases like this, or cases he thought were like this. He granted a temporary restraining order. I couldn't go within 500 feet of my parents or Austin. Couldn't contact them directly or indirectly. The order would stand pending a full hearing in 6 months. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt like I was underwater. Everything muffled and slow and wrong, but it got worse, much worse. The credit cards Austin had opened kept appearing. 2 more in the first week. He'd maxed them all out. Total debt in my name, $12,000. My credit score plummeted from 810 to 590. My car insurance company sent a cancellation notice. They used credit-based pricing. My new score made me high risk. My landlord, a property management company, ran a routine background check and saw the embezzlement investigation. The lease had a morals clause. They started eviction proceedings. My bank froze all my accounts pending fraud investigation. Every account. Checking. Savings. Everything. I couldn't access my own money. I was living off the $400 cash I'd had in my wallet when the freeze happened. Jenna's forensic IT team found the evidence we needed. Someone had accessed my work computer remotely. The IP address traced back to my parents' house. The access logs showed my credentials being used on days I was verifiably out of state. Security footage from conferences, flight records, hotel receipts. I hadn't been anywhere near Chicago on those days, but proving Austin did it instead of them giving me access was harder. Austin had no technical training on record. No certifications. Nothing that showed he could pull off something this sophisticated. Unless he hired someone, Jenna said, or watched YouTube tutorials. These days you can learn anything online. Meanwhile, Austin's life improved dramatically. He got hired at a legitimate sales company. Our uncle, my father's brother, owned a car dealership. He gave Austin a job selling used cars, paid commission, but steady enough to cover his bills if he worked hard. Austin posted about it constantly. Instagram stories of him at the dealership. LinkedIn updates about his new career journey. Facebook posts thanking family for believing in him. My mother commented on everything. "So proud of you, sweetie. This is what happens when you stay positive and work hard." The subtext was clear. Look at Austin. He's thriving. Look at Dottie. She's falling apart. Austin moved back into my parents' house, took over my old bedroom. My mother posted photos of his newly decorated room, painted navy blue, new furniture, a desk with 2 monitors for his side business ideas. They'd never redecorated it for me. Not once in the 12 years since I'd moved out. I was living in an extended stay hotel off Route 59. The weekly rate was $280. My cash was running out. I couldn't access my bank accounts. I couldn't work. I couldn't even apply for new jobs because my professional reputation was destroyed. I sat on the scratchy hotel bedspread and stared at the ceiling. Water stains formed a pattern that looked almost like a face. I stared at it for hours. This was rock bottom. It had to be. It couldn't get worse than this. I was wrong. Jenna called at 2:15 on a Wednesday afternoon. I'd lost track of the days. Wednesday felt like Monday, felt like Saturday. Time had stopped meaning anything. Don't panic, which meant I should absolutely panic. The prosecutor's office has enough to file charges. They're issuing a warrant for your arrest. Felony embezzlement. The evidence looks bad, and they're under pressure to prosecute white-collar crime. But we have proof someone else accessed my computer. We have proof someone accessed it remotely from your parents' IP address. We can't prove you didn't give them access. Intent is hard to prove. So what do? Turn yourself in. I'll arrange it. Tomorrow morning. I'll be there with you. We'll post bail immediately. How much is bail going to be? Her pause told me everything. Probably around $75,000. You'll need 10%. $7,500. I had $320 to my name. I can't afford that. I know. I'm working on it. There's a legal defense fund for financial fraud victims. I'm applying on your behalf. We should know by tomorrow. And if they say no? Another pause. Then you stay in jail until trial. I hung up and lay back on the bed, stared at the water-stained face. It looked sad now. Or maybe I was projecting. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Dottie? It's Austin. I should have hung up. But I was too tired. Too broken. What do you want? I heard about the arrest warrant. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry it came to this. You did this. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Things just got out of hand. You stole my identity. You framed me for embezzlement. You destroyed my entire life. You filed a police report against me. What was I supposed to do? I actually laughed. A harsh, broken sound. You were supposed to not commit fraud. Look, I called because I wanted to give you a chance. Drop the charges. Tell the police it was a misunderstanding. I'll tell the company I made a mistake about the embezzlement thing. We can both move on. You're blackmailing me. I'm offering you a solution. You're going to jail tomorrow, Dottie. Is your pride really worth that? I hung up, blocked the number. But his words stayed with me. Was it worth it? Fighting this hard? Losing this much? For what? Justice? Principle? What good were principles when I was about to be arrested for a crime I didn't commit? That night, I didn't sleep. I packed the few belongings I had in the hotel room. I wrote down Jenna's number and my PIN numbers, in case I needed them in jail. I'd seen enough TV shows to know you got one phone call. I wanted to be ready. At 6 a.m., Jenna picked me up. We drove to the police station in silence. She'd arranged for me to turn myself in voluntarily. It would look better, she said. More cooperative. The booking process was humiliating. Photos. Fingerprints. Strip search. Orange jumpsuit. Cell with 3 other women. I sat on a concrete bench and put my head in my hands. One of the women, older with gray hair and kind eyes, sat next to me. First time? I nodded. What are you in for? Embezzlement. But I didn't do it. She smiled sadly. Nobody in here did it, honey. That's what we all say. No, really. My family framed me. The other women exchanged glances. That look. The one that said, sure, sweetheart, whatever helps you sleep. But the gray-haired woman, her name tag said Patty, just patted my hand. Family fraud. I've seen it. My business partner was my sister. She cleaned out our accounts and blamed me. I was in here for 8 months before they figured out the truth. 8 months? Couldn't make bail. No one believed me. The evidence looked real, but it wasn't. How did you prove it? She got greedy. Bragged to the wrong person. They recorded it. Sometimes bad people can't help but tell someone how clever they are. I thought about that. Austin had always been like that. Proud of his schemes. Showing off. Could he have told someone? Bragged about how he'd outsmarted his sister? Jenna got me out 3 days later. The legal defense fund came through. $7,500 for bail. I walked out of that jail wearing the same clothes I'd worn in, smelling like industrial soap and defeat. She drove me to her apartment. Her spare bedroom was small but clean. A twin bed, a dresser, a window overlooking an alley. "You're staying here," she said. Not asking, telling, no arguments. He can't afford. "You're staying here. We'll figure out money later. Right now, we need to focus on proving your innocence." I wanted to cry, but I was too tired. I just nodded and collapsed onto the bed. The ankle monitor they'd put on me before release dug into my skin. House arrest. I could leave for court dates and lawyer meetings. That was it. My life had become a 10 by 12 room in someone else's apartment. The local news picked up the story. Pharmaceutical executive arrested for embezzlement. My face on TV. My name in headlines. Comments online calling me a thief. A liar. A disgrace. My mother gave an interview. Standing in their front yard, holding my father's hand. We tried to help her. We really did. But she pushed us away. She's always been troubled. We had no idea she was stealing. My father added, "Our son actually discovered the irregularities and tried to warn the company. She retaliated against him. Filed false reports. We're just trying to protect our family." Austin played the heartbroken brother. A separate interview with the same news station. "I just want my sister to get help. This isn't who she is. Or maybe it is. I don't know anymore." The story went viral locally. Justice for victims started trending on Twitter. People who'd never met me had opinions about my character, my guilt, my moral failings. I stopped looking at social media, stopped watching the news. I sat in Jenna's spare room and stared at the wall. That night, Jenna brought me dinner. Thai takeout. Pad see ew, my favorite. I couldn't eat it. "We need Austin to confess," she said. "Or we need someone who knows what he did to come forward. Otherwise, this goes to trial, and trials are unpredictable. How do we get him to confess?" "I have an idea, but it's risky," she explained her plan. "I would wear a wire. We'd get a one-party consent authorization. I'd reach out to Austin, arrange to meet him. Get him talking about what he did. On record. If he realizes what you're doing," Jenna warned, "he could claim you're trying to intimidate him. It could make things worse. It can't get worse than this." Famous last words. The ankle monitor was surprisingly heavy. 24 ounces of plastic and electronics wrapped around my left ankle, reminding me every second that I was a prisoner. Not in jail, but close enough. I sat in Jenna's spare room and composed a text message from a new phone number. A burner phone Jenna had bought at Walmart. Austin wouldn't recognize it. "You won. I'll drop all charges against you. I'll take the plea deal. But I need to see you one time to say goodbye to my brother before I go to prison. Please." I hit send before I could second guess it. The response came in 4 minutes. "Where and when?" "Grant Park. By the fountain. Day after tomorrow. 2 p.m. I'll be there." Just like that. His ego couldn't resist. One last chance to gloat. To see me broken. To know he'd won. Jenna briefed me the next day. The wire would be hidden in my jacket. Police would be nearby but out of sight. All I had to do was get him talking. About the plan. The embezzlement. The identity theft. Anything incriminating. "Don't lead him," she coached. "Don't put words in his mouth. Just ask open questions and let him talk. Austin likes to talk. Let him." We practiced. Different scenarios. Different questions. Ways to keep him talking without making it obvious I was fishing for a confession. By the time we finished, my head hurt. But I felt ready. Or as ready as I'd ever be. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about jail. The cold concrete. The smell of bodies and chemicals. 3 days had felt like 3 weeks. If I lost at trial, I'd face 3 to 7 years. 3 to 7 years for something I didn't do. I got up and looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. I'd lost weight. 15 pounds, maybe more. My face looked hollow. Dark circles under my eyes. Hair unwashed for days because I couldn't find the energy to shower. This is what they'd reduced me to. The next morning, the day of the meeting, I was wired up in Jenna's office. A female police officer attached the microphone, tiny and discreet, to my bra. The transmitter went in my jacket pocket. "Just act natural," the officer said. "Don't touch the wire. Don't adjust it. Pretend it's not there." Easy for her to say. Jenna drove me to Grant Park. She'd stay in the car half a block away. Police were already positioned. Plain clothes. Tourists. Joggers. People who looked like they belonged, but were actually watching. I walked to the fountain. It was a cold December day. The fountain was off for winter. Just empty concrete. And a few pigeons. Austin was already there. He looked good. That was the thing that hurt most. He looked healthy and happy and well-rested. Dark jeans. Nice jacket. New sneakers. The markers of a life going well. While I looked like I'd been living in a cardboard box. "Hey," he said when I got close. Not quite smiling, but close. "You look terrible." "Thanks. I'm sorry it came to this. I really am." I sat on the edge of the fountain. He sat next to me. Close enough to talk without shouting. Close enough for the wire to pick up every word. "Why did you do it?" I asked. "Simple. Open. Not accusatory." He sighed. Looked out at the park. "You want the truth? Please. You always made me feel small. The perfect daughter. Perfect grades. Perfect job. Perfect life. Mom and Dad never stopped comparing me to you. Why don't you try harder like Dottie?" I was tired of it. "So you decided to destroy me?" "I decided to level the playing field. By stealing my identity? By framing me for embezzlement?" He glanced at me. Something flickered in his eyes. Suspicion? But then he shrugged. "You're going to prison anyway. What does it matter now?" "It matters to me. I need to understand. How did you even do it?" And that's when his ego took over. Just like Jenna had predicted. "It was easier than you'd think," he said. He actually sounded proud. "Mom had your social security number. She gave it to me. Said you owed the family after all they'd done for you. The credit cards were simple. Just filled out applications online. They barely verify anything. And the embezzlement? How did you access my work computer?" "I didn't. Dad did. Remember Christmas last year? You were working from their house. Dad watched you type in your passwords. He's got a good memory. Wrote everything down. Then he used Mom's laptop to remote into your work computer when you weren't using it. Took him a few tries to figure out the company's system, but he got there." My heart was pounding. He was confessing. Actually confessing. But why? Why would Mom and Dad help you do this? They're in deep financial trouble. Gambling debts. Credit cards. They're about to lose the house. They thought if you went to prison, they could access your accounts. Power of attorney or something. They'd already forged documents. And once you were gone, I'd be the only kid left to take care of them. But I'd owe them for helping me take you down. So really, they'd be taking care of themselves. I felt sick. My own parents, planning my destruction to save themselves. And the restraining order? The witness statements? Some of that was real. My friends really did sign statements. They believed what I told them. Some of it I just made up. Photoshopped text messages. Easy enough to do. There are apps for it. He looked at me then. Really looked at me. "You're wearing a wire, aren't you?" My blood went cold. "What? No, I just..." He stood up fast. "Backed away? You think I'm stupid? The way you're asking questions? The specific details? You're recording this, Austin. I'm not. You really thought you could trick me?" He was laughing now, harsh and angry. "I'm not confessing to anything. This whole conversation? I was joking, making things up. You can't prove any of it." He turned to walk away. I stood up. "Austin. Wait. Please." But he didn't wait. He started running, just broke into a sprint across the park. Police officers appeared from nowhere, running after him, shouting. One of them caught up to him near the street, tackled him to the ground, and then something happened that I didn't see coming. More police arrived. Squad cars, lights flashing, but they weren't surrounding Austin. They were surrounding me. Jenna ran up, out of breath. What's happening? One of the officers approached me. Dottie Henderson? Yes? You're under arrest for attempting to intimidate a witness. What? No. This was approved. We had authorization for the wire. We just received a report that you've been threatening Mr. Henderson. He called it in 20 minutes ago. Said you demanded this meeting and threatened him if he didn't come. Austin. He'd planned this. He'd known I'd try something like this. He'd set me up again. I was handcuffed. Again. Read my rights. Again. Put in the back of a squad car. Again. Through the window, I saw Austin talking to police, playing the victim, probably crying. He was good at crying on command. Jenna was shouting something about lawyers and authorization and due process, but her voice faded as the car pulled away. Back to jail, back to concrete and steel and orange jumpsuits. This time, I didn't think I was getting out. In the cell, I sat on the same bench. Patty was gone. She'd made bail, someone said. New cellmates. Younger. Harder. They didn't make small talk. I put my head in my hands and tried not to scream. 3 days passed. Then 4. Then 5. Jenna was fighting the new charges. But the system moved slow. And every day in jail was another day closer to breaking completely. On day 6, a guard brought me a package. Not a letter. A package. Padded envelope. My name on it in handwriting I recognized. Austin's handwriting. Inside was a thumb drive. And a note. Found this in Mom's stuff. Thought you should have it before you disappear forever. Consider it a parting gift from your loving brother. I stared at it. What game was he playing now? Jenna came to visit that afternoon. I gave her the thumb drive through the slot. Be careful, I said. It might be a virus or something. She took it to her forensic IT guy. Checked it on an isolated computer. Called me that night. Dottie, you need to hear this. She played it over the phone. A video file. Home videos from childhood at first. Me and Austin playing in the backyard. Birthday parties. Normal stuff. But at the end, there was a recent recording. Kitchen camera. Timestamp from 1 week before my promotion dinner. My mother's voice. We need to take her down a peg. She's always been so proud. Austin, this is your chance to finally come out on top. Austin's voice. I don't know, Mom. This seems extreme. My father's voice. Your sister has always had it easy. Perfect grades. Perfect job. Perfect life. While we struggle. While you struggle. It's not fair. Here's her social security number. Here's her work login information I copied from her laptop last Christmas. Use them. My mother again. She'll never suspect her own family. And once she's out of the way, we can access her accounts. Fix our problems. You'll finally get the recognition you deserve. The video cut off. Jenna's voice came back on the line. Why would he send you this? I don't know. He's turning on them. Or it's another trick. Either way, this is evidence. Real evidence. Your parents orchestrated everything. This could clear you. My hands were shaking. Hope felt dangerous. I'd been disappointed too many times. He wants something, I said. Austin never does anything without wanting something in return. Then let's find out what. That night, the guard brought me to a phone. Austin was on the other end. Did you get my present? He asked. What do you want, Austin? A deal. I testify against Mom and Dad. Tell the truth about everything. In exchange, I get reduced charges. Probation instead of jail time. Why would you turn on them? His voice got quiet. Because they tried to turn on me. I heard them last night. Planning to blame everything on me. Say I acted alone. That they tried to stop me. They're going to feed me to the wolves to save themselves. So you're saving yourself first. Exactly. We're not so different, Dottie. We're both just trying to survive. We're nothing alike. Maybe not. But I'm your only way out of this. You take my deal. Or we both go down. Your choice. I closed my eyes. I need to talk to my lawyer. You have 24 hours. After that, I go to them with a different story. One where you're guilty and I'm a concerned brother who tried to help. He hung up. Jenna came to see me first thing the next morning. We sat in the visitor's room, speaking through glass. Do we take it? I asked. The video alone is enough to help your case, but Austin's testimony would seal it. He can explain the whole operation, how it was planned, how they executed it. With both the video and his testimony, the prosecutor would have to drop charges against you, and he walks away with probation. Probably. Maybe community service. But he'd have a record. He'd be a convicted felon. It would follow him forever. It's not enough. I know, but it's something. And Dottie? There's more. They found evidence that your parents were planning to flee. Tickets to Florida. One way. Your mother's sister lives there. They were going to disappear once your trial started. Let them go. If they flee, they can't be prosecuted. They get away with everything. I thought about it. My parents, the people who raised me, who taught me right from wrong, who were now willing to let me go to prison for crimes they committed. Take the deal, I said. Get Austin's testimony. Stop my parents from running. You're sure? I'm sure. That night, Austin was brought to the prosecutor's office. Jenna and I listened over speakerphone while he told them everything. The whole plan. The timeline. The details. His voice never wavered. He was good at this, at lying and telling the truth in the same breath. The prosecutor agreed to his deal. Probation. Restitution. Community service. In exchange for full cooperation. The next morning, police went to arrest my parents. But there was a problem. They were gone. My parents' house was empty. Not just empty of people. Empty of belongings. Furniture still there. Photos on the walls. But clothes gone. Suitcases gone. The car gone from the garage. They'd run. Despite the deal. Despite Austin's cooperation. Despite everything. Jenna got me released on my own recognizance pending the resolution of the case. The ankle monitor stayed on, but I could leave her apartment for more than just court dates. First thing I did was go to my parents' house with police. They were executing a search warrant, looking for any clue about where Linda and Greg had gone. I walked through the rooms of my childhood, the kitchen where my mother taught me to bake, the living room where we'd watched movies on Friday nights, the backyard where my father pushed me on a swing set that was long since removed. It felt like a museum of a life that never really existed. In my old bedroom, the one they'd converted to Austin's gym, I found a box hidden in the closet. My name on it in my mother's handwriting. I opened it. Inside, every card I'd ever given them. Birthday cards. Mother's Day. Father's Day. Christmas. All of them kept. Preserved in chronological order. And underneath, a letter. Addressed to me. Not mailed, just waiting. I opened it with shaking hands. Dear Dottie, if you're reading this, things didn't go according to plan. I want you to know we never meant to hurt you. We were desperate. The debt was crushing us. The collectors were calling every day. We were going to lose everything. Austin said he had a plan. He said it would work. He said you'd be fine. We believed him because we needed to believe him. I know that's not an excuse. I know what we did was wrong. But you were always so strong, so capable. We thought you could handle it. We thought you'd land on your feet like you always do. Austin needed us. You didn't. Or that's what we told ourselves. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know we loved you. Even when we betrayed you. Even now. Love, Mom. I read it 3 times. Looking for sincerity. Finding only excuses. They loved me. But they loved themselves more. The police found evidence of my parents' plan. Computer searches for flights to Costa Rica. Bank records showing them liquidating accounts. Emails to my mother's sister in Florida asking about getting fake IDs. An APB was issued. Border Patrol was notified. They were fugitives now. But I was free. Charges dropped. Record expunged. My name cleared. Jenna had already started the process of suing my parents for damages. Civil court. $500,000. We'd never see that money. But the judgment would stand. A paper trail of their guilt. Austin called me 2 days after my release. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. They're gone, he said without preamble. Left me behind. Didn't even say goodbye. I know. I'm sorry. For all of it. I was stupid and jealous, and they used that against both of us. You're not a victim here, Austin. You made choices. I know. I just. I wanted you to know I'm sorry. Okay. Okay? That's it? What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? I don't. You destroyed my life. You stole from me. You framed me. You almost sent me to prison. Sorry doesn't fix that. Silence on the line. Then, fair enough. I'll leave you alone. Good luck, Dottie. He hung up. I blocked the number. 2 weeks later, I got a job offer from a competitor pharmaceutical company, vice president of operations, 40% higher salary than my regional director position. They'd followed my case, saw how I handled adversity, wanted someone resilient on their team. I took the job, started the next Monday. My story went viral, not locally, nationally. Woman framed by own parents clears name after months-long legal battle. Think pieces about family fraud. Interviews with legal experts. My face on morning shows. I didn't do any interviews. Refused them all. I was done being a story. I wanted to just be a person again. 3 months after my release, Border Patrol caught my parents trying to cross into Mexico. They'd made it to San Diego. Almost made it across. But their fake IDs were flagged at the checkpoint. They were extradited back to Illinois. Held without bail. Flight risk. The trial was fast. Austin testified. The video was played. Financial records were entered as evidence. My testimony about the years of favoritism and manipulation. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Conspiracy to commit fraud. Identity theft. Embezzlement. Attempted witness intimidation. My father got 12 years. My mother got 10. They'd be in their 70s when they got out. Austin got probation like promised. 3 years. 500 hours of community service. Restitution of $20,000 to be paid to me over time. I'd never see that money either, but that was fine. I didn't need it anymore. 6 months after everything ended, I stood in the kitchen of my new house. Not a condo. A house. 3 bedrooms. Backyard. Garden space. In a neighborhood 40 miles from where I grew up, far enough that I wouldn't run into anyone I knew, close enough that I could visit Jenna whenever I wanted. The doorbell rang. Jenna, arriving for dinner. We'd made it a weekly tradition, her idea. She said I needed routine. Normalcy. Connection. She was right. We cooked together. Pasta. Wine. Easy conversation about work and weather and nothing important. After dinner, we sat on my back deck. Spring evening. Not too cold. I'd planted flowers in the garden boxes. They were starting to bloom. How are you really doing? Jenna asked. Okay. Some days better than others. Therapy helps. I'd started seeing a therapist twice a week. Working through betrayal trauma. Learning to trust again. Learning to forgive myself for not seeing the signs earlier. Heard from Austin? No. He moved to Colorado. Fresh start. I hope it works out for him. I really do. But I don't need to be part of it. And your parents? I visit my mother once a month. She asks me to. I don't know why I go. Maybe because I need to see her face when she realizes I'm doing fine without her. Maybe because some part of me is still that little girl who wanted her mom's approval. Either way, I go. We don't talk much. What is there to say? You're a better person than I am. I don't know about that. I just don't want to carry the anger anymore. It's too heavy. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Miss Henderson, this is Caroline. I read about your story online. I'm dealing with something similar with my family. They're pressuring me to co-sign loans for my brother. After reading what you went through, I found the courage to say no. Thank you for sharing your story. You saved me from making a huge mistake. I showed the text to Jenna. See? She said. Good things came from this. Some good things. Among a lot of bad. But you survived. That counts for something. Yeah, it does. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the sun set over the houses. My phone buzzed again. Another message. Another person thanking me, telling me their story, asking for advice. I'd become, accidentally, an advocate for family fraud victims. People reached out regularly. I tried to respond to everyone, to offer support, to let them know they weren't alone. It gave my suffering purpose, made it mean something beyond just pain. My new job was demanding but fair. My boss respected boundaries. My coworkers were supportive. I'd made friends, real friends who didn't know my family, who knew me as just Dottie, not the daughter of criminals, not the sister of a con artist, just Dottie. That night, after Jenna left, I sat at my kitchen table and wrote in my journal, another therapy assignment. Today I feel grateful. Grateful for Jenna, for second chances, for the strength I didn't know I had. My family taught me I wasn't their priority. They were right. I wasn't. But that wasn't the insult they thought it was, because I learned to be my own priority, and that made all the difference. I closed the journal, made tea, looked at the photos on my refrigerator. Me and Jenna. Me at my new job. Me with Patty, the woman from jail who'd become a friend. No photos of my parents or Austin. A note on the fridge, written on a yellow sticky note. Priority number 1. Myself. Priority number 2. People who earned it. Priority number 3. Living well is the best revenge. I smiled, took my tea to the living room, turned on a movie, just existed in my space, my home, my life. My phone buzzed one more time. I glanced at it. Another message from someone asking for advice. How did you find the strength to fight back? How did you not give up? I thought about it, typed back slowly. I gave up 100 times. But I woke up the next day and tried again. That's all strength is. Not giving up forever. Just not giving up today. And then doing that again tomorrow. You survive by refusing to let them win. One day at a time. I hit send. Put my phone on silent. Settled into the couch. The movie played. Something light. A comedy. I'd watched enough drama for one lifetime. For the first time in my 32 years, I finally understood what it meant to be free. Free from obligation. Free from guilt. Free from the weight of other people's expectations and manipulations. Just free. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The ending of my story isn't neat. It's not wrapped up in a bow with everyone learning their lesson and living happily ever after. Real life doesn't work that way. My parents are in prison. They'll be there for years. My mother writes me letters sometimes. I don't always read them. When I do, they're full of excuses and justifications and occasionally buried deep, something that might be genuine remorse. I don't know if I'll ever forgive them. Therapy says I don't have to. Forgiveness is for me, not them. So maybe someday, or maybe never. Both options are okay. Austin is rebuilding his life in Colorado. We're not close. We'll never be close. But we're civil. He sends a Christmas card every year. I send one back. That's the extent of our relationship. It's enough. The extended family members who posted cruel things on social media never really apologized. Some tried to act like nothing happened. Like they didn't call me a thief and a liar, and worse. I've kept my distance. Blood doesn't mean family. I learned that the hard way. But I also learned what family really means. Jenna, who stood by me when I had nothing. Who risked her reputation and her resources to fight for me. She's family. Patty, the woman I met in jail, who gave me hope when I had none. We have coffee once a month. Share our stories of survival. She's family. My new coworkers who welcomed me despite my past, who judge me on my work, not my history. They're becoming family, too. Family is the people who show up, who stay, who choose you every day. Not because they have to, because they want to. My career recovered faster than I expected. The publicity, while painful, also brought opportunities. Companies wanted someone resilient, someone who'd been tested and didn't break. Within a year, I was promoted again. Director of Operations for the entire Midwest region. I bought a house. Not in the suburbs where I grew up, but in a quiet neighborhood closer to the city. 3 bedrooms. One for me. One for an office. One for guests. Jenna stays over sometimes after late dinners. Patty came for Thanksgiving last year. I'm building new traditions, new memories, clean ones. The financial recovery took longer. My credit score climbed slowly back up. The debt Austin created was eventually resolved. Some of it written off, some of it paid through the restitution order, a few dollars at a time. I'll probably never see the full amount. That's okay. I don't need it. I learned to live simply, to appreciate what I have, to not base my worth on external achievements or other people's opinions. Losing everything taught me what actually matters. And what matters isn't money or status or family approval. What matters is integrity, self-respect, the ability to look yourself in the mirror and know you did the right thing, even when it cost you everything. What matters is resilience, getting knocked down and getting back up. Over and over. Until eventually, you're still standing and your enemies are not. What matters is choosing yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a healthy way. Knowing your worth. Setting boundaries. Walking away from people who hurt you, even if they're family, especially if they're family. I've become an accidental advocate for family fraud victims. I didn't plan it, but people keep reaching out, sharing their stories, asking for advice. I help when I can. I listen. I tell them what I learned, that they're not crazy, that they're not wrong, that blood relation doesn't justify abuse. I've spoken at a few conferences, written some articles, not because I want attention, but because I remember how alone I felt, how isolated, how much I needed to hear that someone else understood. If my story helps even one person set boundaries or leave a toxic situation, then everything I went through has purpose. Some people ask if I regret filing that first police report against Austin. If I wish I'd just let it go. Kept the peace. Maintained the family. The answer is no. Without question, no. Filing that report was the moment I chose myself, the moment I said my well-being matters, my safety matters, my future matters, more than keeping up appearances, more than protecting people who wouldn't protect me. Everything that happened after, all the pain and the loss and the darkness, it was worth it, because on the other side was freedom, real freedom, not the illusion of family harmony built on my silence and sacrifice, but actual freedom to be myself, to live my life, to build relationships based on mutual respect, instead of obligation. I wake up every morning in my house, make coffee in my kitchen, look out at my garden, and I'm at peace. Not because my life is perfect. It's not. I still have bad days. Days where the betrayal hits me fresh and sharp. Days where I miss having parents I can call. Days where I wonder what my life would look like if they'd just loved me better. But those days are getting fewer. And between them are good days, great days. Days where I laugh with friends and excel at work and feel genuinely content. I'm dating someone now. Slowly, carefully. Learning to trust again isn't easy. But he's patient, kind. He knows my story and doesn't treat me like I'm damaged. Just like I'm human. Like I survived something hard and came out stronger. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. Either way, I'll be okay. Because I have myself. And that's enough. One of the most healing things I've done is start mentoring young women at work, teaching them about boundaries, about not sacrificing themselves for others, about knowing their worth. I see younger versions of myself in them, the ones who work too hard for too little recognition, who give and give and give until there's nothing left. I tell them what I wish someone had told me. You can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. And anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to use you. They listen. Some of them apply it, some don't. That's okay. Everyone has to learn their own lessons in their own time. But at least they heard it. At least they know it's an option. Last month, on the anniversary of my promotion dinner, the one my family skipped, I went back to that same steakhouse. But this time, I didn't go alone. Jenna came. Patty came. 3 of my coworkers came. My new friend Marcus from the gym came. My neighbor Elizabeth came. The table was full. We ordered too much food, drank good wine, laughed loud enough that other tables looked over, told stories, made toasts. Jenna stood up and raised her glass. To Dottie, who faced the worst betrayal imaginable and didn't let it destroy her, who fought back and won, Who's building a life that's authentic and beautiful, and entirely hers. We're honored to be part of it. Everyone cheered, clinked glasses, and I sat there, surrounded by people who chose to be there, who wanted to celebrate me. And I felt full, not full of pain or anger or bitterness, full of love, of gratitude, of hope. This is what winning looks like. Not revenge. Not seeing my parents and Austin suffer. Not even the job or the house or the restored reputation. Winning is being genuinely happy. Waking up without dread. Having relationships built on honesty. Knowing who I am and being okay with that. Winning is freedom. So I want to leave you with this. If you're in a situation where family is betraying you, using you, hurting you, know that you're not alone. Know that choosing yourself doesn't make you selfish. Know that leaving toxic people, even family, is sometimes the bravest thing you can do. It won't be easy. It might cost you everything, like it cost me. But on the other side of that pain is peace. Real peace. And that's worth fighting for. You're not wrong. You're not ungrateful. You're not a bad daughter, or son, or sibling. You're someone who recognized abuse and chose to walk away. That takes incredible strength. And if you're watching this because you've never experienced family betrayal, consider yourself lucky. But also, look at the people in your life who might be going through it. The friend who's always stressed about family. The coworker who never talks about their parents. The person who seems isolated and alone. Reach out. Listen. Believe them when they tell you their family is toxic. Don't push them to reconcile or forgive or maintain contact. Just support them. Be the family they need. Because at the end of the day, we all need someone in our corner. Someone who sees us and values us and chooses us. Be that person for someone. And find those people for yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family? How did you find the strength? What helped you through it? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if this story resonated with you, if it helped you feel less alone or gave you courage to make a hard decision, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who might need it. Sometimes we all need reminding that we're not crazy, we're not wrong, and we deserve better. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community, where we can talk about hard things honestly. I hope you find your freedom, whatever that looks like for you. I hope you surround yourself with people who choose you. I hope you wake up one day and realize you're finally at peace. You deserve that. We all do. Take care of yourselves. Set those boundaries. Choose yourself. And remember, living well really is the best revenge. Until next time.